Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day, sending positivity and good vibes your way. Today we are talking Jalen Rose, ESPN's Jalen Rose, who has put a foot in his mouth, you guys. Has put his foot in his mouth because he was putting out subliminal tweets, you guys, and I think we all know who he obviously was talking about or who he was trying to talk about. However, it did not go well for him. And he became a trending topic, he became a meme, and it resurfaced old rumors regarding his ex-wife, you guys. So what am I talking about? What happened, out of the blue, because this is not like Jalen Rose at all. Usually if he has something to say, he essentially says it. He's not the type to throw rocks and hide his hands or throw out subliminals to people. But he decided to take to Twitter to basically say some thoughts about his peers in the sportscasting business and how they are basically making a career of trolling the Cowboys, right? And so when I first saw the first tweet about trolling the Cowboys, which I'll get to in a moment, I was thinking to myself, well, the only person I know that actually trolls the Cowboys is Stephen A. Smith. Which is, from what you said, was your dog, was your colleague, was everything else, right? Because if you were trying to shade Skip Bayless is many things, but who he actually trolls for a living is LeBron James, used to be Chris Bosh, that he used to call Posh Spice. It's usually the black athletes, right? And he's actually a Dallas Cowboys fan, last I checked, and he was in love with Tony Romo. So I was confused by the tweet and how people deduced from this that he was talking about Skip Bayless, right? So let's get into what he said, right? And what caused all of this discourse, because NBA Central was the one that initially took the screenshots of the tweets and had posted it. And then we started to see Jalen Rose unravel and reply to some of these tweets because they did not go the way that he was intending for this to go. So there is that. So Jalen Rose's first tweet says the following. It says, "So glad I didn't make a career of content pretending to fake troll the Cowboys." In another tweet, Jalen quotes that tweet and says, "Preying on the audience being dumb/lazy and low-hanging fruit." So then a fan calls Jalen out and is like, replies to one of the tweets, and they're like, "So no at though?" Right? With like an Omar Epps meme. And so Jalen Rose quotes this fan and says, "No at needed. Excuse my language. Damn near all shows selling clowns like this, like it's quality content. You the fool." And so, like I said earlier, Jalen Rose decided not to actually say what he was trying to say and actually call out who he was trying to call out, what actual sportscaster he was trying to call out. But a lot of people, including NBA Central, assumed that it was Stephen A. Smith. And actually, like I said, screenshotted his tweets, and their headline was Jalen Rose calls out Stephen A. Smith with like the eyes emoji, right? The side eyes emoji. So Jalen then quotes NBA Central on Twitter and says, "He is my brother," pertaining to Stephen A. Smith, "and this is not accurate. If anything, it was for Mr. 1.4 points per game playing JV as a junior," right? So that was supposed to be shots at, Skip Bayless, but technically Stephen A. Had a season in 1990 to 91 where he averaged 1.5 points a game as well and 1 assist. So it could theoretically be about the both of them, right? But the problem is when you throw out subliminals and you don't explicitly say who you're discussing, these are the things that happen. This is how you go viral. This is how you get trolled, right? And so really the biggest troll on the Cowboys, and you don't even have to watch sports on a regular basis to know, is Stephen A. Smith. Right? He always calls the Cowboys an accident waiting to happen, and that at some point they're going to screw something up, and that he doesn't care whether or not they make the playoffs because it's not going to lead to them winning the championship, right? And so he always brings on Michael Irvin or some Dallas Cowboy great to troll them as well, and, basically play, wear the jersey of another team, despite the Cowboys and everything else. Like, he has a whole shtick that he does, right? Skip Bayless has a whole shtick as it pertains to, some of these black athletes that he likes to slander, right? But he never like clowns the Cowboys like this, right? He'll come for Dak Prescott, but he doesn't clown the Cowboys on the level that Stephen A. Smith does. So that's why everybody is confused, because it's like there's really only one sportcaster that goes hard in the paint like this on the Cowboys, and he works at the same network as you. Right? So I think the shade just kind of, fell on deaf ears. Now, if you wanted to articulate it and say, hey, I don't like how, you're coming from Dak Prescott like this, or whatever the case may be, or whatever Skip's analysis was that pissed you off or that made you feel a certain type of way, but instead of articulating that, you basically put out an ambiguous tweet, which easily could be applied to Stephen A. Smith, and you basically got humbled. You basically got humbled, and you had to walk back with the tail between your legs because you were not explicit in your tweets, Jalen. And so as a result, everybody was creating memes of your ex-wife with Stephen A. Smith. Everybody was playing the old resurfaced clips of when Stephen A. Smith, who said he was grateful for Thanksgiving, and said that Molly, Jalen's ex-wife, was number one. Also with, the discussion and the discourse on the Dallas Cowboys, it was in fact, Molly that had on a Dallas jersey that she was wearing as well. I don't think Jalen was talking about anybody else. I think he meant to talk about Skip Bayless, but I also think he was talking about Stephen A. Smith, right? And this is just adding fuel to the fire. This is adding fuel to the people thinking that something is or did go on with Stephen A. Smith and Molly Quorum, Jalen Rose's ex's wife, even though eventually in the 11th hour, when no one cared anymore, Jalen Rose did end up denying that that wasn't true. But again, when you put things out here like this, when you throw rocks and hide your hands and expect people, in this social media, 24/7 society to immediately know what you're talking about, you set a hole for yourself, right? You set a hole for yourself that you have to dig yourself out of, right? And so it looks like, to everybody else that you're pressed. That you feel some sort of animosity towards others, and, want to, get your little digs in. But what I don't understand about this is the timing. As you guys know, we are at the height of the drama that has taken place as far as, whatever is going on with Fox Sports with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. As we know, ESPN does not hesitate to fire people for the littlest things, right? And so my question is, are ratings down at ESPN? Is Jalen Rose's contract about to expire at ESPN? Is he trying to jump ship? Is he trying to go to a different network? Like, what was the angle for all of this, right? Because it would seem dumb to try to sabotage your coworker, right? And put out these subliminals about your coworker, and you work at the same company, right? And it would seem silly to throw out subliminals on somebody else on another network that you potentially could be on in the event that your contract negotiations are not going as you had thought, since you were also upset how things went down with Maria Andrews and everything else and the like, with all of that drama and the Rachel Nichols scandal. So I'm just confused as far as why you want to burn bridges right now at a point where it is very critical of, a lot of these sportscasters, these sports analysts. It's an opportune time for when you are in those contract negotiations, when, executives are looking at the content, are looking at what is, piquing the interest of the viewers, what is trending, what is going viral, that of all things to insert yourself and throw a jab in at Skip Bayless about that you chose this route, but it doesn't make any sense because he's not the ultimate Cowboys troll. It's actually your coworker that you call your brother, Stephen A. Smith, right? And it doesn't take a rocket science to put two and two together. I still think low key there was some shade he was trying to throw at his colleague. I don't care what Jalen Rose said. You don't just come out of the blue and just tweet all of this random stuff when literally Stephen A. Smith is reenacting skits from 90s movies to continue to troll the Dallas Cowboys, and is taking it to another level, any other level compared to anything that Skip Bayless ever did. So I'm just confused. And like I said, it just added more fuel to the fire. It just added more people to believe the Molly and Stephen A. Smith rumors, whether they are true, whether they are fake news, whether it was a salacious rumor to get the people talking. And really nothing has diffused it, right? Nothing has diffused it because none of the parties involved decided to immediately shut it down. By the time it was denied, nobody cared anymore, right? So again, it's like, if you're going to say something, Jalen, you're usually pretty outspoken anyways, but going this route of a subliminals just wasn't it, right? And even with that, you still didn't even explicitly say Skip's name. You put out some stats that also Stephen A. Smith has comparable stats. So it's just a hot mess all around. You're getting trolled really bad, and it's just unfortunate, right? It is just unfortunate, but you've never been shy to just simply say it with your chest and say what you mean and mean what you say. So I have no idea what the angle was and what you were trying to do, and any potential networking opportunities and things of that nature that may or may have not come from this, because ultimately you put your foot in your mouth, right? Ultimately you put your foot in your mouth, and no matter what you say, people still think you're still shading Stephen A. Smith, right? So there is that. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. What do you guys think of Jalen Rose putting his foot in his mouth and, doing a bad take of subliminals that basically easily could have been implied about Stephen A. Smith? And when it all went wrong, he still explicitly didn't say the name of the person he was talking about. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post some content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.